Okay, let's get that annoying music off. I wish you could shut that off. For whatever reason, you can't. I was looking all over how to shut that off, and then Wandering Gale told me, "No, you can't. You just have to start talking, and it does it." I was like, "Oh, that's kind of annoying." But yeah, is what it is. We're just gonna give everybody a few minutes to get in here. I'm throwing out some co-host invites. Let me get people up on the stage and to be up here.
Hello, gentlemen.
Good evening. For those that are coming in, if you could retweet the space, I would appreciate it to get the word out. This is a unofficial Guild of Guardians event, but it is an official Galaxy Gamers event. So we got that going for us here. And let me throw something up. Are you able to throw things up in the background, Asus?
Yeah. What do you need?
Throw the Gamer Galaxy's X page up there if you can.
Yes, sir.
Anything you find relevant that we're talking about, you can throw up there too, whatever. I trust you. All right, so yeah, this is our very first Gamer Galaxies, not our first spaces, but our first Guild of Guardians community spotlight. That's kind of what I'm calling it. We wanted to really give the community a voice. We get to listen to the top dogs in Guild of Guardians talk all the time, and it's very limited for the community to get some stage time. So I thought, why not just start doing our own thing? And we want to make this a ongoing thing to give the community a voice of what their opinions are going forward with this, this roguelite RPG that we think is going to be a hit in this space. And recently we've had the Canada Regional Test. I have not been able to play it. I don't think anybody from our crew has been able to play it. It was for Canada only, and I did not feel like jumping through all the hoops to get to play it because I got enough on my plate as it is. So we thought we'd bring up the people that have played it and get their opinions and their comments so that we can have a good understanding of the changes from family and friends to the Canada Regional Playtest. So we're going to do things a little bit different from most spaces, I think. We're going to have two panels. We're going to have our super guest, Tomahawk. Mr. Tom and Teo have graciously given us their time tonight to speak on their experiences of the regional test. And then we're going to have a panel of the Gamer Galaxy leaders. So I'm going to be asking questions to the guest. They're going to respond to those questions and give their opinions. And then I'm going to go over to the Gamer Galaxies panel and see if they have any comments or questions about the comments that the guest gave. So is anybody unclear about those things? Okay.
Sounds great, man.
All right. So the first question, we'll start with Tomahawk. I know for a fact that you have played a Friends and Family demo. And on a scale of 1 to 10, 10 being the highest, 1 being the lowest, how much of an overall improvement have you seen in the Canada Regional Test versus the former Friends and Family demo?
All right, this is a little tricky without going through a whole long explanation, but my quick explanation will be, if you look at it from the outside, it looks pretty similar to the Friends Family demo, but there are so many tweaks that just improve the game so much, and additions and stuff like that. So I would give it an 8.
Very nice, very nice. High score there, 8. I love it. So following up on that very solid 8 that you just gave it there, I know there's been several, but what has been your favorite change or addition to the regional test versus Friends and Family? Tomahawk.
Yeah, so like I just mentioned, there are really many tweaks that have really improved the games. If I had to choose one, I'd say for myself that the most meaningful change would be the improvement of the runes. RUNES, not rooms. So basically, there are a whole lot more selection. And what is really cool is there are some that are specific to each either domain, faction, each class, or each role, which adds a whole other different layer of strategy and synergy elements. So it can truly affect whether you fail or succeed, in completing the dungeon. And I think this is one of the change that really captures what Chris Clay was referring to when he was saying after the Friends and Family demo that he wants player to feel like they are making more meaningful choices. So it would have to be like the runes selection for me.
Awesome. Fantastic answer. Mr. Tom, I know, I don't know. Did you play Friends and Family, first of all?
I did not. I wasn't lucky enough to. I don't have many friends, unfortunately.
Okay. All
So
right.
no, I
Well,
didn't.
okay. So you won't be able to answer that first question. So I will change this up just a bit for you. What has been your, boy, that's going to be tough to ask you this. All right, Mr. Tom, I'm gonna have to pass on it since you haven't played Friends and Family because this doesn't really pertain to you. So I'm gonna switch over to Teo on this. I know you played Friends and Family demo. I seen you there playing it. On a scale of 1 to 10, 10 being the highest, 1 being the lowest. What's your overall impression from Friends and Family to the Canada Regional Playtest now?
Tricky question. I think Tomahawk did a really good job mentioning the runes. Some aspects of the game lower end, 2, 3, 4. I'm going to be very conservative and realistic about it. But on other parts of it, 10. Um, if you see the last boss of the game, dude, Mind Loader. Gosh darn, guys, if we give them some time to really develop this thing more, because if you think about it, when Mindloader got here, they haven't even been here, what, like 9 months, even 8 months, something like that, to do a complete turnaround. So if you compare to where they started and where we are now, I'd give it an 11. But compared to like Friends and Family, if you see the animations for the bosses now, dude, I was flabbergasted. It was just awesome. So on the rune, I'm loving that they did the runes. I would love to see more customized runes. I got a few suggestions on that, but all around, I'll give it a 7. Some aspects 2, 3. Some aspects 8, 9, 10. But good lord, the game is beautiful. I mean, these animations, the enemy animations, the boss animations, the ultimate animations. Mindloader is making us a phenomenally beautiful game for a Web3 mobile game. I can't even wait to see what else they come up with. The artists are incredible.
That's awesome. I really like that answer about how you differentiated between some of the things that you definitely think need improvement and some that are just hit it out of the park. But we like constructive criticism here. We don't like to be fanboys. So thanks for your honest answer. Gamer Galaxy's panel. We got some good information there from Tomahawk and Teo. Do you have any comments or questions that you want to follow up on that with?
For Teo, what was the thing you're not happy about?
Man, I want to see. It's not enough time, frankly. To be completely honest, they're on a very tight deadline and they're pushing at an incredible pace. But again, remember when I first started, I said they're moving Mount Everest, and I think it's almost unrealistic to expect such drastic changes in a short amount of time. So the bones of the game is essentially there. They've added more content. They've added more levels. They've definitely added some the animations, dude. I'm telling you, you see some of these flames coming out of the heroes animations. It's all that stuff's good. Um, I suppose if we
So,
had a bunch more time, I would like to see just more content, but it's going to take months and years to get to the point where I want to see where we have this game that's more than enough content to digest. Right now, it's soaking up all of our time on like which we already know about. There's a lot of energy and a lot of time. Like you could play this game 12 hours a day. It's not meant to be that way. I think it's meant to be a few hours at most a day, but with many different things. So as they have more time they've been laser focused on what they have and what they've been doing. I give them a 10 on all of that. But if we give them more time, right? Because they didn't take 10 years to make this game. Diablo 4 took a decade, right? So imagine a year from now. Imagine 6 months from now. Imagine 2 years from now. I think we have a unicorn. We just need to give them these extremely talented developers a little more time, you know?
interesting.
Awesome. Awesome. Okay, we're going to keep this train moving here. Mr. Tom, I want to give you some airtime, so I'm going to start off with you on this next question first. Obviously, Teo was just alluding to it. It's been noted a lot about the grind factor, especially in endless dungeons. The quality of life aspect needs to be changed. Gamers Galaxy podcast did a very awesome interview with Chris Clay, and he was all over it that has to change. So obviously that's the biggest elephant in the room right now in a lot of our opinions. So disregarding the grind factor, Mr. Tom, is there something else that you think needs to be fixed or added to after this regional test is over?
Yeah. I think there are a lot of obvious things, the guild integrations, the pets, and all that we can mention, but that will come. I think for me, they still haven't quite got right the difficulty scaling. You start and you play, and things are easy, and you feel like you're making progress, then all of a sudden you hit a wall. And they've been quite clever, you know, what they've done with the various difficulty levels. So this happens in endless and it happens in story mode as well. So you get to a point that hits a wall, then you can go back and do hard mode. You can go up a level in endless and run those 30 levels again. But for me, just that scaling, that steepness of that curve is just a little too sharp. I think they need to tamper that down. But part of the problem ultimately comes to the character development in the early stages is really aided by the rewards for level progression, for character progression, character level. But then that drops off. So past around level 100, I think, it really does become a bit of a slog. And that's when you're looking for something else to do. You're looking for something else to farm. You're looking for ways to utilize your heroes. You're looking to build a larger, broader team, and you don't have the resource available to do that. So another facet of this is with equipment. By the time you've got the level, you know, the level 5 epic equipment, by the time you've maxed 1, 2, 3 pieces of that, you're on to legendary again, which has a higher level cap. So I just think all of these systems that they've got in place, which are brilliant systems, just need to be tweaked and looked at in a bit more detail. And they just need to get that passage of play, particularly at the higher levels, just sorted out a bit. I think that for me is the biggest thing that needs to change.
That was an amazing answer. Seriously, that there was a lot to that. If you can adjust your mic a little bit, you're like you come in really clear sometimes, and other times you kind of fade out, and you're like giving some really good information, and we would like to hear it all come through. So if you could adjust that a little bit next time I come back to you, I'd appreciate it. If you're able to, just do what you can. I'm going to move over to Tomahawk next. Yeah, the grind factor, obviously, the elephant in the room. What do you, Tomahawk, think needs to be fixed or added to this regional test or to the Gilded Guardians after this regional test is over?
I'd say like they got the game loop pretty well thought out. It's extremely addictive. Maybe a few tweaks needed here and there, but nothing much aside from that energy factor that you mentioned. Obviously we're all waiting for those Web3 elements, the social gameplay, guilds, pets, economy, and that's really what's going to enhance the already super fun and addictive game and help onboard millions of players. If I had to pick on one little thing, they've added something really cool, which is bonds between certain specific guardians. And then if you have these 3 guardians in your party, they'll give you a stat boost. But right now, those stats boosts are extremely minimal, like not enticing players at all to play with these bonded guardians. It's literally less stat boosts than leveling up one level or putting on a better equipment. So if they could improve and have more of these guardian bonds with a more enticing boost, that would be great.
Awesome. Mr. Teo, the stage is yours. What do you think they need to add to the GOG mix after this regional playtest is over?
Gosh, I could talk about that all day, man. I've been trying to get a one-on-one with Clay for a minute now, but I've played some other similar games that are very like if you ever played AFK Arena or another game called Magic Rush, it's the same concept, totally different genre, but similar. I just want more side content and more like challenges and more game theory that I can craft. Right now, there is. Don't get me wrong. The reason I'm number 1 right now is I outgrinded everybody, and I guess I got a little lucky, And there's quite a bit of game theory there, but it's not enough. With the heroes that we do have, I do love that in the friends and family, we got a chance to play with our Web3 heroes. It wasn't Web3, but I got to mess with Freya, and we got to play with Leah and Tomo and all that. And obviously, Leah is a badass, and Freya, I think, is totally underrated, totally going to be awesome. I think that's going to be one of my core heroes. Um, but other than game theory coming from more heroes and them being a certain element or a certain faction or something like that, I think Tom was kind of mentioning that, like I want to feel like one, the synergy should matter more because he's right. If you have these three heroes in a party, which they don't even work well together anyway, you're gonna get this minor stat boost. Lame. I would like to see something along the lines of, oh, if you have these three heroes now, every time you get a kill, a random enemy is going to be frozen for 3 seconds or something like that. Something that's like captivating, and you're like, well, wait a second. There's this one enemy that kills me every time, but if I could freeze him for 3 seconds, I only need 3 more seconds to beat that level, and that's the wall that I'm at. But with the energy, I think. I mean, I talked to Clay about this. He knows. And you said it too. He knows the energy is a problem. He's trying to find ways to burn the energy with different things. Again, I think they're really trying to get the core economy, the Web3 side of it, the IMX, the gas fees, everything, the seamless passports. They have so many things they need to fine tune first. And I know Clay specifically said the most important thing to him right now is getting people to play to day 30. He wants to get that, oh, they played for a day and now they're here for day 2 and now they're here for day 7 and now they're here for day 30. That's their core focus.
We're losing you there, Teo.
Minutes or an
you're
hour.
back. Okay.
Oh, sorry about that. I don't know where I cut off, but what's the last thing you said? Because I was basically saying we need.
We lost you for about 5 seconds there.
Oh, okay, cool. Well, basically, the energy is a temporary problem. I think right now their goal with the regional launch in Canada is one. I don't know if you guys are watching the feedback channel, but the feedback has been very good, very positive, very constructive. And a lot of it's similar, some of it's different, some of it's specialized, nuanced, all that. But I will say they are reading it and they know, and they're professionals, and they're gonna fine tune this thing, man. I'm actually more bullish than ever on this, and I'm addicted to the game. I don't want to be addicted to the game. The quality of life right now is very low. If you want to push for a leaderboard, it's not. I'm like literally at work, on the toilet, reading, like you name it, everything I do. I'm like literally playing the game right now. You have to if you want to compete. So we need to find the balance there, and they will. But again, they need time. They're trying to fine tune what they have. They're trying to get the new players to get to day 2, to get to 7, to get to 30, and then eventually, given enough time, I think we'll have a community of millions of people that are either playing 10 minutes a day or an hour a day or a couple hours a day, but hopefully to where it's just a quality of life to where it's parallel play, which is you're able to play the game while doing other things, but you don't need to be parallel playing all day, every day, right? Just every day, a little bit. And I think if we get to that point, we're gonna have a hell of a game on our hands here. 'Cause
Absolutely.
it's sticky. It's a very sticky
Yeah,
game.
I totally
In a
I
good
totally
way.
get the
Good.
quality of life thing. That's what's one of my core tenets is how is the quality of life of the game, and at the same time they're like keep playing. I'm like, oh my gosh, yeah. And I'm not even playing, but I'm seeing people say that, so I totally get what you're saying. Gamer Galaxy's panel, there was a lot of information there. Did anything stick out to you that you want to comment on or ask a follow up question to our special guest?
Yeah, I think some of the quality of life stuff might be answered with the introduction of clans and things like that, where some of the cooperative play and bonuses that are planned to be handed out as part of cooperating with clan members and things like that. I was reading through the white paper and everything. I got that sense of, hey, we're going to be able to enhance the style or the way that you're going to play this game with that integration as well. So I see that as being a plus for sure.
Awesome. Wandering Gale, I see your hand up. Take the floor, my friend.
So I was just wondering, you mentioned heroes there. Is there any particular heroes or guardians that have a competitive edge than the other, or do they all just start out on the same level? Yeah.
Anyone for the guests, they able to answer that?
Yeah, I could. Can you hear
Yep,
me?
go ahead.
Well, depending if you mean Web 2 or Web 3, if you want a deep analysis on my opinion of where that's going, because I know they're fine tuning it. You know, the Web 3 heroes, especially the legendaries, and I'm noticing they're the epics. I don't think the rares as much, but I think they're going to make rares relevant too down the line. I am noticing, like me, I'm not. I have the ability to run all legendary heroes, but I'm not. So there are some epic heroes that are just so damn good. I don't want to say too much, but if you want to DM him, I'm happy to help you. But Flix is a really good healer. It's a Web 2 hero. Yusuf, EUSEF, is like really great AoE damage, just awesome. Beef his damage up a bit. I want to test Anara a bit. She's a Web 2 mage that when I was fighting against her, she was annihilating me. I think they had to nerf her a little bit. On the Web3 side of things, I don't want to like shill any NFTs, but I personally think if you see what I comment in the public Discord, if my intuition is right on this, I think that the epics are way undervalued. They're like super cheap, like $10 right now. So that's awesome. And the legendaries, they're kind of near all-time lows, but if the legendaries are going to be as rare as they are, to where there's literally like 150 of a Freya or 200 Leahs, frankly, if this game hits, I mean, they're just completely undervalued because one, you're not going to need multiple of them to star up more than likely. If you need more than one, I'd be completely flabbergasted. I'm under the impression that they're probably going to start at higher stars or maybe be easier to level up. I don't know with the stars, but on the Web3 side of things, Leah was just destroying. She was supposed to be a healer, but she was a cannon, like a nuclear warhead cannon. Freya was really amazing because the ultimate could stun in front of her, and if you timed it perfectly, you could stun 2 or 3 enemies at a time, and you're fighting 5 at a time. But that's not really what made her great. Freya had the ability to, if you had one of your teammates die and get to 0 HP, because once that happens, it starts snowballing on you. You really need all 5. Once you get down to 4 or 3 guardians out of 5, it hurts. And then the next fight is really hard because as of right now, like I have the ability to run 7 or 8 heroes, but I'm really focused on 5 or 6 heroes being very as strong as possible. So you want to keep your 5 core guys alive as much as possible as you run through these rooms. And Freya has the ability to save, I think, each person on the team one time in a fight. So let's say your back line, which is all your DPS, gets sniped by 3 archers on the other side of the field where they just all ultimate at the same time, and your DPS goes from 100% HP down to 0 immediately, and there's nothing you can do about it. Freya can stop that from happening, and there's like a 5-second cooldown where there's this bubble around that player, and then that gives you more than enough time to get your ultimates ready, to get your heals ready. So I think Freya's totally undervalued. I don't know if they're going to nerf Leah, but Leah's pretty awesome. I don't know if they're going to adjust Karkuk, but Karkuk's like this berserker orc hero that's a dual axe. I'm wondering how viable he's going to be. Last we checked, he had this ability to where if he has low HP, his damage goes through the roof, like doubles or triples or something like that. So if you can imagine, if he's at 1% HP and Freya stops him from dying, and he's got like 5 or 8 seconds or something that he could just nuke a whole enemy team by himself. I don't know. Maybe if he had enough attack speed or critical damage or something. I don't know. Very curious on the game 3 of Karkuk. Tavros is a Web3 legendary hero. I think they're probably going to nerf him, but he was like Flix, where he could heal your whole team, just massive heals, and you need that sustain because when you're fighting 10 rooms or 20 rooms in a row, you lose a lot of HP. And one of the things, if you've ever played AFK Arena, if you have to keep fighting and fighting, you want to end each room with full HP and full energy, which is hard to do. But Tavros and Flix, they heal the whole team very well. So even though you're getting slammed, there might be a point where all 5 of your heroes are down to 10% HP, but then the enemy used all their ultimates. They exhausted all their ultimates, so you barely survived. but now your Flicks or your Tavros are bringing all your HP up to the highest you can, hopefully. And then if you're lucky, you end that room at the exact moment where all your heroes are at like 80% HP, 90% HP, and hopefully a good amount of energy to it. So I'm trying to think of the other Web3 legendary heroes off the top of my head. But yeah, if you really want to DM me, I'd be happy to give you some analysis on that. But my general consensus is, if this game lands as hard as it could land, the legendary heroes are. I mean, disclaimer, I've got probably like 200 or something like that I've
Wow.
accumulated over time. Something like that. Maybe 150. I don't know. I think I have like 10 or 15 of all the esports and like 5 of all the founders or something like that. But I just have a pretty fat bag on that. But I'm not selling them. I'm my original goal was to use them and burn them to level them up. But I don't think we're going to need to do that. I think I have more than enough than any one person could ever possibly need. I do think that I didn't play Axie, but when I first joined, my first NFT other than Neo Tokyo was an energy booster for GOG. And the guy that told me about it, he's like this big Web3 gaming website guy. He's like I think it's the biggest Web3 gaming website out there. But he was basically telling me, oh yeah, I bought this Axie. It's like a mythic Axie for like $30 or $300, and I just sold it for 20,000. I was like, Jesus Christ. Well, what if we did a fraction of that? What if this $100 legendary hero just went up to 400 or let alone 1,000? And there's only 150 of them, and they're talking about millions of players. So what if there are? Anyways, I digress.
Okay.
But I could talk
No, no,
anxiously
no.
all day. I'm
No,
sorry.
it's fine. I tried inviting Mr. Tom back. I think he might be having some technical difficulties. I'm messaging him, trying to get him back on. Yeah, so we just powered through like our next couple questions here, honestly, with all that. That was a ton of information. So part of this is, though, we've talked about all the like overpowered. Obviously, Leah is still overpowered. She was in Friends and Family. It sounds like she still is now. They really love Leah. You can see it. They're gonna have to dial that back. So which I know there's a couple out there. No more than 3. If you got 1 or 2, which heroes do you think definitely need some love? Like they're broken and they're not usable. Tomahawk. Who do you think that would fall into that question?
Believe it or not, I haven't tested all Guardians. Maybe tried only really half. I should be trying them all, but some days I have limited playtime, and I'm also trying to catch up to Teo up there on the leaderboard. But if I won't go with specific heroes, but I'll go with categories of Guardians that I think need some love. So right now, I don't like a single mage, which is weird because in RPGs, I always like playing mages. All the ones I've tried have disappointed me, including the legendary Anera. So the mages, then warriors, I guess they could be useful because they should be versatile, but I've been finding them just not tanky enough and pretty squishy for the slight increase of damage they provide. And then the third category I'd have to say are the rare guardians. Right now, they're pretty much all useless in your squad. Once you've summoned and upgraded enough epics and legendary, they're, however, quite useful to sacrifice. But if we're thinking of our rare NFTs and this and that, I know they will add more utility to them. But right now in the Web 2 Canadian playtest, the rares are pretty much pointless to play with. There are some really, really good epics that I like, legendaries, but those would be the 3 categories that could use some love.
Awesome. Thank you. Fuse Wars joined us in this space. Welcome, Fuse Wars, and welcome to the Immutable ecosystem. It's glad to see you here. Just wanted to give you a shout out. If you guys haven't checked out Fuse Wars, you probably should. It's pretty interesting looking. We've been watching it for over a month, and we had a feeling they were coming to Immutable, and they are. Hats off to Rubik for finding that originally, and then we've been watching it since. Yes, we stalk people here at Immutable. That's what we do at Gamers Galaxy. Teo, which characters have you played that are absolutely broken? Just a couple. We don't need the whole roster. I'm sure you got everything mapped out with what you do, but just give us a
I don't.
couple that
I don't
definitely
want
need
to
to be
tell
fixed.
you. I don't want to tell you the best ones because that's the ones I'm using. But I'll
Worst,
say
the worst ones, the worst
a
ones.
mage, a, a mage that I like is Tala. Pretty awesome. Try 'em out, Tomahawk. Pretty good. I think she's viable. I see one of my guildmates using it. All the rares are pretty awful. There might be one or two maybe functional. One epic I'd like to adjust, although a lot of people seem to like him, is the dragon looking warrior brand or brund or whatever. He's just massive heals. He's like tanky as hell. The longer he stays alive, the harder he becomes to kill. But I'd like to see him just have some sort of crowd control, something, because he just like stands there and is useless. I think Tomahawk said it pretty well. The warriors and tanks, I've only found one that works really well with my team, but I'm even thinking of going tankless, no tank at all, which that's a whole nother theory there. But for the most part, they all kind of need a little bit of tweaking. I don't want to say the strongest ones, but I'll say the epics need a little bit of love. The legends need a little bit of tweaking. They should really stand out a little more. But there's pretty good balance. There is some, but with the feedback that they're giving, I think they'll. It's kind of a cop out answer, but yeah, that's kind of all I want to give up.
Okay, no,
Go
that's fine.
ahead.
That's perfect. That's perfect. So it might be hard for the Gamers Galaxy panel to ask or comment on this because they have not had a chance to play this, so they're just kind of going off your description, your opinions, your analysis of what has happened. Gamer Galaxy's panel, do you have any additional comments or questions about this whole hero selection that we just went through?
Not me, anyway.
Yeah, it's tough. I had a feeling this was going to be tough for you guys to chime in this one, so we'll keep moving along. We already talked about the quality of life aspect and the addiction aspect of this game. Um, I'm a big advocate of quality of life, but still wanting to have that addiction factor. I asked you guys ahead of time, where would you like to see that at? Would you like to see 75% addiction, 25% quality of life, or do you think maybe it's a 60-40 balance, a 60% addiction, 40% quality of life? What is your take on how they should try to balance that out percentage wise? Tomahawk, we'll start with you.
I mean, I think it can remain 100% addictive, but it should offer like a max daily gameplay time of 2-3 hours. Like, let's say you're using all your energy every single day. I think 2-3 hours max would definitely help. And then obviously, if you're playing not to be on the top of the leaderboard, but just to do your daily challenges, then that should look like 30 minutes a day. And there's still so much to do outside of actual dungeon gameplay, and there'll be so much more with the guild and the social gameplay to keep players occupied if they actually want to spend more time. So I think you can have both. I think you can have a crazy addictive game, but that you only need to take your phone out and play it. 30 minutes if you're more casual, or 2 to 3 hours if you really want to hit the top of the leaderboard. And it's great because it's a game that you can easily play by watching TV, going to the washroom, doing other stuff. Like I'm literally playing it right now as well. I know Teo is. So it's great for that. It's like a companion, but you shouldn't have to take it out more than 2 to 3 hours a day, in my opinion. But I love the addictive factor of it. I literally stopped playing my other Web3 games that are also really good during this time.
Oh wow, that's pretty impressive to say that. Mr. Tom, welcome back to the stage. The question was, where do you see the quality of life versus the addiction balance, and what would you like to see? You can give it percentage wise or give a take like Tomahawk did. Either way.
Yeah, I'm just going to pop back to the last question because I was hearing what everyone said, and I think my my two colleagues in here missed out a little bit of the audience, so I'd just like to fill that in. So we talked a lot
Okay.
about the Web3 heroes, but we missed out some of the Web2 heroes, and I'd just like to highlight two of them, which I haven't yet mentioned. So, Teo, if this is who you're thinking of, apologies, but I think Ashwin is going to be insane. So one of the things I really like about him is he doesn't work. He just doesn't work at all. He's awful. But he has the potential to be absolutely incredible. So his first ability, just to give you an idea of what it does, is he does 6 hits, but every crit he makes gains him an extra hit. So he can go infinite. Now, with a legendary gear, if you get that right and you select the right runes, you could have real fun with that guy. So I really love him. And then we've talked about generalities, but we haven't talked about specifically what makes a good character. And I think Grizel, who everyone should have from the 7-Day Awards, is probably the best support you could possibly expect to see. So her first ability basically fills the energy bar of any one of your other heroes. So effectively, she doubles your strongest ult. She's got a great kit with 2 stuns, well, 1 fear and 1 stun, and she heals. And she's a bit of a beast. She's absolutely incredible. So yeah, I think those two are really, really strong. There's another which I won't mention, which I know Teo and I both are using, who's incredibly OP, but I just really don't want that nerfed yet. So we'll skip over it. And then one that I think needs a bit of love is Thorit. He's got a really interesting kit. He does some really interesting things. He increases attack speed and movement speed, but he just doesn't do well enough. And it's such a shame because he would be such a good utility hero. He would bring such good sort of dynamics to the game that you want to get your ultimates off more, so you're boosting attack speed to try and generate that energy faster. I think that's really great. When it comes to the addictiveness question, personally, yeah, I want it as addictive as crack. I want to stick it in my veins. You know, I want to be all over this thing. And 2 to 3 hours, I've quoted. It's not enough for me. I want to be able to pick this up. I want to be able to play it for like 4 or 5 hours. I would like to see my girlfriend and child at some point. So currently, it's a bit too much. But like, yeah, a little bit more. I want to be able to pick it up and play for 5 hours. But also, I don't want to feel like I've fallen behind if I just play for 2. You know, I don't want to be like, oh, Teo's off in first place, 3 million points above me. I want to feel like, oh, I can catch him, but maybe I won't quite have the breadth of heroes that he has. That's my take anyway.
Oh, that's awesome. They need to make that a tagline. GOG, addictive as crack. You're gonna want to stick it in your veins. I love it. I love it. That's awesome. I'm sorry, Gamer Galaxy's panel. Any comments or questions on all that analysis we just got?
I've been sober for like almost 4 years, and I want some crack now. No, I'm just kidding. No, this is awesome. It's everything I've wanted to hear. I'm super freaking jealous that I'm not in it because this is the type of game that I really enjoy. Um, you know, I honestly I started playing first person shooters like back with Counter Strike, early Counter Strike stuff, but like as I grew as a gamer and as I started to get older, I guess this type of game, including like Diablo and things like that, dungeon crawlers and things like that, really started to stick out to me. Um, I also want it to be as addicting as possible, but knowing my amount of play time that I'm gonna get, like the 2 to 3 hour range does sound like doable, and I'm just really excited to see like how we can like theory craft to get some of these other characters to really stand out more. So yeah.
Fantastic. Awesome. Yeah. So that was, man, I really enjoyed that question. I enjoyed the responses. Awesome job, guys. We're moving on. We got a few more to go. We're making good time here. This one's kind of a hypothetical. Just go with it. Have fun. You just need to pick one that you think is the best. If you could pick one immutable ecosystem game that could collab with Gilded Guardians like today, or in the near future, which would that be? An example would be like, okay, I want Gilded Guardians and Gods Unchained to have like this holy marriage where they're going back and forth and doing all kinds of stuff together. Which immutable game in the ecosystem would you pick? And we'll start with Teo first.
I think it's a pretty obvious answer, but my answer that I officially would make would be different. But I think GU, I think Gods Unchained would be a fantastic. I'm not even a big GU follower, but because they have so many cards and so much they could play with, I'm a little skeptical about the altar. You know, I it makes me think of like when I played Facebook games or games that make you add Facebook to add friends so you could get more stamina or whatever. I didn't necessarily like to min max. I had to collab with other efforts outside of the game, but I do think GU would be incredible on the lore side and opportunity, and because it's like directly related to Chris Clay. What I would love to see from a monetary standpoint, which I don't think would be very viable, I'd love to see book games by Gary Vaynerchuk, because he has such a huge following of entrepreneurs that are wealthy outside of Web3. You know, they're not degenerates. They kind of got introduced to NFTs by Gary Vee. But if you look at that crowd of folks, all those people are like people that are making six figures through honest livings that they created their own businesses through, and a lot of them are gamers. You know, so I'm kind of curious. I don't think that would be easily or as fun or the lore of it all. GU for lore, but for financial injection into the community. V friends, book games.
Oh man, I'm gonna call you on that one. I know you got him to follow you, Gary V, and you're shilling for him indiscriminately. No, I'm just messing with you, man. But
Dude, I got a fat bag of all that stuff, but I mean, no, I mean it. Those people
yeah,
got
I know,
money.
I know.
They don't have crypto Web3 money. They have like legit money, and then they
Mm-hmm.
invested into crypto. So
Mm-hmm.
that is
Shilling
an
for
angle
Gary
we could
V.
attack
You're
on that.
shilling for Gary V. Okay,
I was shilling for
I
GU.
know,
I
I
don't
know.
have any GU
Mr.
cards.
Tom, Mr. Tom, who would you like to see GOG collab with?
Like Teo said, it's got to be Gods and Chain, doesn't it? I think the opportunities there and the similarities in systems could just be amazing. Like, for example, can you imagine, this new Gods and Chain card is released. It's a prize for sealed, it's a prize for ranked, and the rarity, the shine of that card represents the enlightenment in Gilded Guardians, like those sort of interactions. The abilities become spells, the characters themselves become legendaries, and that works both ways. I just think it'd be a really good way to introduce people to both games. And I think, GU has a very loyal following. I think where it struggles is reaching out. It's not Web2 friendly. It doesn't capture that market. But GOG, it's got that. I mean, one of the amazing things about this product is that it is a Web2 game. I haven't had to interact with any assets whatsoever. I'm having a great time, but it's got that Web3 backend. It's so cleverly designed to do that. I think that would be such an easy path into Gods Unchained when that mobile comes, and you can also control it. You can have, you must be level at 100s in this to get this. I just think the synergy between the two could be absolutely fantastic. And the competitive element of GU is something that's currently missing in GOG. The PvP, the winning the tournaments. So yeah, I think it's a match made in heaven, but obviously, I think it is a pipe dream.
Fantastic, fantastic. All right, Tomahawk, take us home here on this this collab question of who you want to see collab with GOG if you had the choice right now.
All right. I know you're definitely referring to the altar here, which we're all super excited about. Like put two different NFTs from two different games in here, throw it in the altar, and you're going to get this new hero for GOG or this new card for this other game. Me personally, I would throw in GOG with Cross the Ages and see what comes out. I think Cross the Ages and GOG would be an awesome fit, not just because they're two of my favorite Web3 games, but they both have a huge IP, huge backing. Across the Ages is backed by Square Enix, Ubisoft, Namco, Bandai, something like that, and they're from France, so they've got the Europe market. They're taking over Japan as well, and GOG is with Immutable. They've got the Asian market, Mindloader, got Australia, they've got Canada with the playtest, and obviously the game is for anyone, really. It's free to play. They're both free to play games. I would love to see a collab Across the Ages and GOG, and they're both on Immutable. So that for me, that would be heaven.
Yeah, awesome. That's one of the ones that I thought about as well. Gamer Galaxy's panel, you can comment on what their picks, but I'm going to open up to you. Who would you like to see if you don't want to comment on their picks? or do you line up with them?
I was immediately, obviously like they said, GU, because like the whole dread, bringing in like the lower portion of it, a lot of the cards mix, and a lot of the storyline mixes. I would love to see Illuvium, because a lot of those characters could be used as pets. So being able to use like an Atlas or something like that, or a Rampy, to go out and be one of your pets as a worker or whatever, or as a fighter or something like that, that would be freaking amazing. Allowing, the cross pollination of the game's IP, and things like that. That's something that I'd love to see.
Shardbound. I reckon that'd be pretty cool.
Yeah, I would like to align with Mr. Tom there with GU as well. That the way he described it there sounded phenomenal. So hats off to you, Mr. Tom. Never even thought of that. That was brilliant.
Yeah, very good thoughts there. Man, I didn't even click in my head, and it should have, about Alluvium. Like, all the pets in Gilded Guardians. Like, what if Cadmus showed up for like an appearance in Alluvium for a while, and vice versa? One of their key iconic pets showed up in Gilded Guardians for a while, or who knows? Who knows what you could do with that? I should have thought of it, and I didn't. So very cool stuff. Okay, we're gonna move on to our final segment here for the night. We're gonna have a little bit of fun. The guests don't know what exactly I'm going to ask for the parameters. They know the question here, but so you have to marry one of these, get drunk with one of these, or you have to kill one of these. One for each slot. You can't double up. So marry one, get drunk with one, kill one. Our first is Gilded Guardian legend Ryan Tadveen, co-founder Robbie Ferguson, and Kansas City tight end Travis Kelce. Marry one, get drunk with one, kill one. Mr. Tom, start with us, please.
Oh, sorry, dude. Can you give me that again? I'm
All right.
definitely getting
Yeah.
drunk with Ferguson.
Oh my
You got to
god!
marry
like-
one,
Oh my
get
god!
drunk with one,
No,
kill
no,
one.
no. Like, dude, like I'm getting drunk with Ferguson, 100%, but I can't
Okay.
decide who to murder, so I'm gonna have to abstain on that bit. But yeah. Me and Fergie down the pub, couple of beers. I bet he can drink a lot
Nah,
of us under the
you
table.
can't abstain. You can't pick one.
Jeez.
All three. You got to pick, man. This is part of the game.
So you're either marrying Kelsey or Ryan. Which one is it?
Well, I mean, they're both so attractive, but I'll go for Ryan, I think.
You're marrying Ryan?
Yeah, definitely, for sure.
All right,
Why
and
not?
killing Travis, Kelce, getting drunk with Robbie, and marrying Ryan on the books. Okay, Tomahawk, marry one, get drunk with one, kill one. Ryan Tadveen, Robbie Ferguson, or Kansas City tight end Travis Kelce. Go.
All right. Well, I'm not a huge football fan, so I didn't even know who Travis Kelce was until I Googled him. Shocker. If it was a hockey player, I'd know right away. So I'll just kill him off because I don't know him. The other two, I'm a big fan of. Ryan, I know personally, great guy. Robbie Ferguson just seems like a genius. So let's marry the genius and get drunk with Ryan.
Love it. That's logic, straight to the point, efficiency. All right, Teo, bring us home with this. Marry one, get drunk with one, kill one. Go.
All right. If there's no prenup, Ferguson, because that dude's gonna be so baller, like straight up. And then Ryan would be a great drinking buddy, I'm sure. Although I will admit, I have bothered that man so many times in the DMs for the last year and a half. He probably would want to kill me by now. I think he's pretty good at hiding it, but I'm pretty sure I drive that man nuts all the time. But I would love to buy that man a beer. And then I guess are we talking about Taylor Swift's? Is that Taylor Swift's boyfriend?
For now, yeah.
That
Yeah,
was
for now.
Oh
For
yeah, for
now.
now until there's another song about him. I mean, I wish no ill upon anybody, but if I have to play the game, yes, I guess that's who would go. By the way, while I got the mic, I just wanted to give a shout out to my guildmate, SickLab X. He is, I think, top 3 or top 2 right now on the diamond leaderboards. So just wanted to send some love your way, dude. Keep killing it, man. Super proud of you, and thank you for joining us here.
Awesome. Great job, fellas. I want to, again, thank you for your valuable time and coming on our very first Gamer Galaxies space for the Guild of Guardians community. We plan on doing this often to give the community a voice so that they can get their opinions and analysis out there. Thank you to my colleagues at the Gamer Galaxies crew. You guys did awesome as well. Gamer Galaxies crew, do you have any final thoughts before we depart today?
Yeah,
a lot of really good feedback. Sorry, Rubik, go ahead.
No, you go.
Just a lot of really good feedback. Glad you guys took the time and came on here and told me about what I'm missing, and definitely kill you guys and Mary. No, I'm just kidding. Thanks again.
Yeah, I just
WT, you're a great host, by the way, man. Your demeanor is fantastic. The way you pass the mic, you're a fantastic host. You
Thanks.
should totally do this all the time. Like seriously, A+. You killed it, man.
cool. I would just want to say that like one of the things I've taken away is that it's got a lot of potential, but it feels like it might be a little bit rushed to get it out, and that's because of the promises being there for so long, and they need to get it out. And we interviewed Chris Clay, and like he mentioned potential MMO in the future. When we joke and say he promised it, but obviously, if you listen to the pod, he didn't promise it. So it's just a joke we're running with. He promised. So this plan of GOG is to get it in and let it grow over time, and there's heaps of ideas he's got that he hasn't even talked about yet, but just need to get the minimum game flow in, get people in. I've watched streamers stream it. It's really, it's a really interesting stream because you don't have to be glued to the screen the whole time. I feel that it's going to have a real success. I'm predicting 2.5 million users by the end of this year. Daily active users, or monthly active users, sorry. So, if it can get that, we'll start to see the expansion of all the different types of content coming for it for over the years. So yeah, I hope that's going to happen.
Wandering Gale, take us home, brother.
Well, just want to say Kelsey would get the guillotine straight away. But yeah, I think Ryan really going Ferguson would be a good supping partner. I say he could down some pints along with myself, But anyway, that the way you guys described the game today has really got me excited. So I can't wait to see it when it comes out globally. Like I can't wait to get my hands on it. But I just want to know one more thing. Where are you at? I know Teo's number 1. Where are you at in the leaderboards, Tomahawk, and where are you at, Mr. Tom?
All right, let me pull this out right now. Endless leaderboard.
While he's doing that, I just want to comment that I love the cold ruthlessness of Teo coming out and throwing in the prenup claim before he made a selection on his who to marry. That was cold.
Well, like currently, I'm second in gold.
No prenup.
Sorry. Currently, I'm second in gold, but like,
Oh, nice,
well,
Tom.
Teo started before me. I'll be there in like, what is it, 2 weeks? Like, I was first in my first leaderboard, and I'm second in this one. I could be first if I want. I'm just letting Mike have the top spot. He feel he needs a bit of self-confidence, so I'm just letting him have first. Cruising in second. But like, dude, I'm like 2 weeks in. Give me a chance. Give me a chance. I'll be there.
Oh, that's great, man. That's good.
And well, just to give you a little context, I guess there's different ladders in terms of leaderboard. So I'm assuming Teo is up there alone in the champion ladder. And then there's master, then diamond. I have no clue how many of players are in master and diamond, but I'm in the next one after diamond, which is platinum. And I'm staying in the top 10 right now, which means I'll be moving up to diamond in 2 days if I keep up the play.
Awesome. Fantastic. Again, I want to thank everybody for tuning in tonight. If you haven't followed any of these special guests that we have up here tonight or the Gamer Galaxies panel, I would highly suggest you do that, as they have tons of great info. They're key contributors in the Web3 space on several games, especially Guild of Guardians. And we will be doing this going forward. Make sure you give Gamers Galaxy a follow to see what we're doing. We're covering all the immutable games that we possibly can. It's hard at times, but we're collecting them and trying to get the information out to everybody, and especially Guild of Guardians, because that's kind of a lot of our home that we came from. Not everybody, but some of us here. And yeah, the future's looking bright for Immutable. The future's looking bright for Guild of Guardians. I thank you all for tuning in tonight. Everybody have a great night. Be safe. I love you all, and we'll be back here soon with some more Guild of Guardian access for our community.
WT, can I say one thing before we
Yeah, real quick.
bounce? I just wanted to say, like, one thing I'm really loving about the GOG is all of us right now, if you were able to play, we literally could have had this entire call whilst playing at the same time and effectively playing. The parallel play, I think, is the key takeaway for GOG. It's not, it's like just like having a buddy on the side of you all the time. And I'm loving it.
Awesome.
So, all right, man. I'll catch y'all
Yep.
later.
Key point to end this night. Everybody take care. Bye-bye now.
See you later.